The words that James Hetfield screams out sound like the last screams.
Here we go.
Thrown by Jägermeister.
Yeah, it was bad.
Wouldn't you worry about your hands, though? I mean, as a guitar.
On behind those eyes. Is it pride or doubt, glory or loneliness that troubles him every day? Heavy metal's most famous musician has been this man. His powerful riffs and painful words have won over millions of hearts. Not many people know, though, that he was an abandoned child before he became the lead singer of Metallica. That person's mother died of cancer because his family wouldn't pay for care. He was a lonely kid who could only relax by playing the guitar. Why would someone who turned pain into timeless songs feel lost?
Artists and musicians, they don't retire. You know, they might tour less, but
As a guitar player, no, hell no, you don't care
about anything, man.
You don't
Come
think
on.
about that.
This isn't just the story of a famous rock star. This is the sorrow of a soul seller.
There's no reason for us to stop, first of all. As far as artists.
Complicated life of James Hetfield. A man who built a music kingdom, but almost lost control of it. Young adulthood. At the time of his birth, August 8th, 1963, in Downey, California, James Allen Hetfield was part of a family that seemed normal at first glance, but had many hidden problems. Virgil Hetfield was a truck driver, and Cynthia Bassett
Had the doctor know. Yeah, it was right. It was quite a deadly combination.
Punches thrown by.
or gentle direction from his family. Growing up, he had a strong, almost
Where
extreme
everyone can just come live. I don't know. There's no.
a religion
There's
that
a-
didn't
bit
believe
different
in
from Metallica,
medicine
bit of
and
accent
thought that
going
prayer
on.
could heal all diseases.
Yeah.
James had to
That's
learn
the
early
singer
on
from
that
Nickelback,
discomfort
right?
was a normal part
Okay.
of his faith. The friends of his went to the hospital when they were hurt. In spite of the family's strong religious beliefs, his mother was not allowed to get medical help when her cancer was getting worse. Without doing anything, James saw his mother get weaker and weaker until she was just a ghost. Although they prayed, God did not answer. Finally, Cynthia disappeared, leaving James, 16, with a wound that looked like it would never heal.
Attitude.
Tragically,
Fueled by
the
Jägermeister.
bad
The
news
mouth,
didn't
and I
end.
had the. We'll start a commune or something. We'll have Metallica camps where
I'd
everyone.
like to tell you that you have been
An
my
empty
hero of
heart,
the day.
and a growing
Finding
anger
time
that
to
he
talk to
couldn't
us.
quite
Great.
put into words. If faith couldn't save his mother and family couldn't keep him safe, he had to navigate his own way. James Hetfield's life was saving when music
But don't you
came
wear
into
that
it.
as like a badge
If
of honor?
prayers
that-
didn't
that-
work,
that you
the
guys
screaming of
kinda made it without
Aerosmith,
radio.
Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin,
wanted to have a
and
little
Deep
color
Purple
to
did.
it.
They yelled instead of
And,
pleading.
you know.
They didn't beg. They broke up the pain with noise. James first tried playing the piano, but the soft sounds didn't make him feel better. Next, he tried drums, but they weren't loud
life.
enough. He finally
don't know how
found
to
his
fight
voice
at
when he
all.
picked up a guitar.
I really
and
don't.
What are they gonna
sharp
fill that
riffs
void
and
with?
fretted strings with a lot of
They're gonna.
stress.
I don't know.
This
They're
was
gonna
how
have to
he could
come.
scream what words failed him. When he was by himself in Brea, his guitar was the only thing
it's
that
what I
made him
like
feel
about it.
connected.
All right, well,
He
we're
played
going to check
every
out your
day
new
for
video.
hours until his
And
fingers
James, I'd
hurt,
like to...
losing himself in the constant sound that ripped through the dead quiet of a house
Right,
that didn't feel like home anymore. He started making friends at school with kids who liked rock music too. Arrogant kids who were looking for more than boring classes
Kind
and
of
empty
guitar.
words.
And I
Along
love the
with some
shape.
friends.
Obviously
He
this
started a
nice
small
snake-like
band
shape.
called
And
Obsession. He felt like he belonged somewhere for the first time in his life.
How did you know how
spent
to
a
fight
lot
so
of time
well?
listening to
Was
music,
this
but the
something
ghost
taught,
of
or
his
you just
past
had a
never
lot of
really
fights
left
in
him.
your?
At night, when his guitar wasn't playing, the same haunting thoughts kept going.
When you guys just decide to stop
Because God
music,
exists,
what do
why do you let my
Metallica fans, what are
Is
they gonna...
music
Good one.
really the
And
answer
actually,
to my
it's like
problems?
Metallica is like
Although James
right in
Hetfield
your face
found
as well,
something
which
that could
is
help him stay alive, the past would never really let go of him. It was just dormant, waiting for the day it would explode with more fierceness than ever. Starting out in your job, James Hetfield never liked to brag or connect with others, but he became quiet and guarded as a result of his years of being alone in Brea. He was always ready to face the world. Despite this, he was sure of one thing. Music was the only thing that could save him. Not the useless prayers
James
of his
would clean it
family
up for
or the
me and
sympathy
throw
of
a
his
few
cousins,
punches at some of
but
these
the
other
pure,
guys.
James,
unfiltered
how did you
power
know
of guitar
It makes me
that
wonder,
let
what
out all
can they
of his
fill
bad
that desire with afterwards when
knew
you...
what Hetfield wanted to do after high school. Although he moved from one small band to another, looking for a place to join, none of them really understood the pain he was feeling. His time with the band Leather Charm was short-lived and ultimately unsuccessful, leaving him feeling empty once more. Still, something unexpected happened that changed everything. Hetfield saw a small ad in the Recycler, a Los Angeles local classifieds paper, in 1981. Young Danish drummer Lars Ulrich was looking for other players to join his band. Hetfield wasn't particularly hopeful, but he chose to try it anyway. Perhaps it would be
music. It seems like it's something that they need in their lives to get them through things.
And never seen in anyone else. An insanely high level of ambition and an unwillingness to accept failure. Lars wasn't a great drummer. His work was actually pretty poor, and Hetfield needed someone like him. Someone who had big dreams and wanted more than just making music. He wanted to rule the world of metal. They formed a new band, but nothing came easily. The practice sessions were held in hot garages. They worked out until they were tired, and they lived on cheap beer fast food. Although none of them had any money, they were sure that this was what they were meant to do. Ron McGovney wanted to play bass, and Dave Mustaine wanted to be the lead guitarist. Although Mustaine was a brilliant musician, he was also an uncontrollable drinker who regularly caused fights.
When it comes to Metallica music, your fans don't just want your music.
They've been waiting for us for a couple years. A bassist with unmatched skill who added a whole new layer to their music, made things even more complicated. One problem, though? Cliff refused to leave San Francisco, which made it hard for Metallica to make a choice. Since Cliff wanted to join the band, they made the crazy decision to drop everything and move to San Francisco. Cliff Burton's arrival totally changed Metallica. They weren't just a band playing fast, rough sounds anymore. Cliff gave them levels of depth.
Or Gojira were in town.
I just changed to move forward.
I think it was
they needed to get rid of Dave Mustaine because he was their biggest problem. Mustaine wasn't just a great guitarist. His behavior was out of control. During his drunken stupor, he broke things and started fights with everyone. Mustaine had consistently thrown punches at Hetfield during long, wild fights. But in the end, something gave way. In April 1983, Metallica fired Mustaine while they were on their way to New York to make their first album. No mistakes, no warnings. Giving him a bus ticket and sending him on his way. After swearing payback, Mustaine kept his word that he later joined Rehab, which is Metallica's biggest foe. But Hetfield didn't care at that time. Metallica didn't need someone who was aggressive. They hired Exodus's skilled...
Whether it was, you know, like I think the last one was The Sword.
Burton and Hammett joined the band. Then they released their first album, Kill Them All, which was a furious indictment of the whole age. Heavily distorted guitar riffs, pounding drum beats, and a raw anger that felt like it could not be contained. But even as Metallica reached a new level, Hetfield had no idea that his life was about to become the saddest it would ever be. Success and destroying oneself. Despite having a full group and a strong drive, Metallica were still just an underground band trying to make a name for themselves every day. The only thing that holds them together is their unwavering belief that they were born to do this. They were right, though. The band not only made history, but they also changed heavy metal history. When they released their first record, Kill Them All 1983, it was a big surprise to major label music.
Now, you do talk about, changing lives, because when it comes to
Metallica brought something completely different. Something welcoming us, angry, and full of the rage of young men who had nothing to lose. An unprecedented sound was made by Hetfield's growling singing, piercing guitar riffs, and thunderous drumming. Albums with songs like Seek and Destroy and Whiplash weren't just tracks. That time's creative limits were pushed to the limit by these songs. Still, Hetfield and his friends didn't just want to be oddballs. They wanted to keep things under control. 2 years later, in 1984, Ride the Lightning was a huge step forward. Metallica stopped just playing loud and quickly and started trying out more complicated tunes and deeper themes.
Getting kudos from all the fans and everything. We're totally blessed to get anything, really.
Shocked many fans. It also made the band more than just reckless speed demons playing thrash riffs.
The first time we went
Later,
to Europe,
in 1986, they released Master of Puppets, a record that made them famous. It was more than just a musical marvel. This song was an anthem about power and how people are controlled like dolls in society. Everything on the album, from the relentless opener Battery to the brutal epic Master of Puppets about the damage addiction causes to Orion. An instrumental piece filled with Cliff Burton's genius showed that Metallica was no longer just an underground band. Their actions had become famous. Unfortunately, tragedy struck just as they reached the top. Metallica was on tour in Sweden on September 27th.
And that is another one of those awards that has done that. And, you know, besides getting...
managed to crawl out of the rubble, he saw something that stopped him in his tracks.
biggest transformation.
Cliff Burton, his friend, bandmate, and the soul of Metallica, was suffocated under the bus and will never be seen again. No one believed it. Hetfield screamed at the driver and ran around excitedly looking for him, asking him if he had been drinking. That being said, Cliff was never coming back, no matter what he did. There would be no more Metallica.
And then when I got the Explorer,
Cliff had killed a part of him. Hetfield almost gave up after losing his best friend. Metallica just wouldn't stop. After hiring Jason Newsted as their new drummer, they kept playing. Despite Jason's skill, he could never take Cliff's place in Hetfield's heart.
Mission for changing people's lives and making an impact on people.
Also, Justice for All 1988 was Metallica's coldest and least emotional album ever.
Around LA and San
Balanced
Francisco,
and warm
James
for
was so
missing.
shy that he
Songs
didn't
like
even used to talk.
One, Harvester of Sorrow, and Blackened sounded like souls screaming that the world is full of unfairness and lost on Metallica's 1991 album, The Black Album, made them the most famous band in the world. Metallica weren't just for thrash metal fans anymore. They were ready to take over the world. This record, which included hits like Enter Sandman, The Unforgiven, and Nothing Else Matters, which was Hetfield's first public display of weakness, sold over 30 million copies and put Metallica at the top of the world charts.
A little bit of a,
although everyone was happy
big mouth
for them,
and
Hetfield had
definitely
never
throw
felt more
the
alone.
best
On the way, I think the biggest award is recognition.
I noticed a big
Hetfield also started
even
drinking.
in the early days,
His drinking
when we were
helped him
playing-
forget about the pain. To avoid reality, he drank. Escape reality in the middle to late 1990s.
So I hope it hasn't
Load,
got like that yet.
1996,
No, I was just kind
and
of okay.
Reload,
There you go.
1997. Released in the middle to late 1990s, were
This
Metallica's
this
attempts
this
to
What do
use
you
new
mean?
sounds.
And then we had this
Well,
really long,
Hetfield stopped caring. He truly lacked clarity about his actions. He simply knew that drinking was the only thing that could help him feel better. In February, Metallica became angry at Napster, which hurt their image with fans. Hetfield didn't care.
We love for 30 years, and we've had many awards along the way.
People's expectations, Cliff's death, and the wounds from his youth all hit him hard,
Many
and he drank to
situations.
forget about them all.
When I,
His drinking helped him forget.
I had a
His
little
drinking
bit of
took
you
away
listen
the
to
pain.
yourself back
When
and
he
you go,
started
wow,
losing
I'd rather
control in
not
the late
sound like that.
1990s, no
You're
one
out
in the
here,
band knew
in
how
Europe
bad
for like,
things
I don't
were
know,
growing.
it's called the
Without
poor
warning,
touring
the
me.
alcohol changed him into someone else. Angry, detached, and hard to predict. Disputes within the band got worse. Anders Ulrich, who was always bluntly honest with Hetfield, got impatient. As the diplomat that he usually
Actually,
was,
when you're
Kirk
sitting
Hammett
down with
couldn't
it, you
take it
got the V
anymore.
down it.
Because
there.
of the
I mean, it's
extreme
super
stress,
easy.
Jason Newsted, who had been playing bass for Metallica since Cliff's death, lost it. Not long after they started recording their new album in February 2001,
Throughout the rest of the
Hetfield
80s,
vanished without a trace.
James
Everyone was confused
helped
about where
me
he
in
was.
You and the boys feel.
Well, we've been doing what we love.
Last.
They guide you too.
Jimmy Hetfield
You know,
had
you
gone
can
to
ask
Rehab.
questions like, what does that
IT was
sound
the
like? Or,
first time he had faced the monsters that had been for years. This was very expensive, though. Metallica was almost failing. Hetfield was essential to the band's success.
So,
Without knowing when he would come back, they were stuck to IN reality. Hetfield's fight took place outside of Rehab. Other storms were happening outside,
Oh my God.
and Metallica was facing one that could destroy everything. One of the band members, Jason Newsted, who had been
holding it this
feeling
way,
left out
it's
for a
like, wow, that's
while,
weird.
chose to quit.
But
Unsure of
actually,
what to
I think
do
for
next, Lars
balance,
Ulrich and Kirk Hammett sat in
I
a
will
studio
say
that
that
was unoccupied. Metallica had never slowed or stopped, but now they were standing still for the first time, facing a question that no one wanted to ask. Does this mean the end?
Golden Gods Awards. How does an acknowledgement like that make you?
The world their deepest battles, which showed how chaotic things were inside the band. Fans could
Well, I'll have
not
to have a look at
recognize the
that.
proud
And
metal
of course, they've
heroes
got a
they
pig
used to
on
look
their
up
album.
to. Instead, they saw men who were broken and severely hurt trying desperately to fix something that was already broken. After graduating from Rehab,
No one knew
Hetfield
they
came
were
back
covers,
with a
and we
fresh
loved 'em
outlook.
until it
Changing would
came
help
time
him
to
live a better
record our
life.
demos.
Strangely enough,
Like
Lars
the
Ulrich
Kinks
did
with the
not
flying
get
V, and he's
that.
playing
According
through
to
the
Ulrich,
middle, you know.
Metallica was never about security or balance. It was about making things confusing and testing the limits. In the documentary, when they disagreed, it wasn't just a fight.
I did
Both men had
stand
strong
up for the
wills,
rest of the night.
and there were two
However,
different
Has been nominated for one of the most important Lifetime Achievement Awards at the Golden.
Not surprisingly, they needed each other. Hetfield gradually learned to take charge of his life with the help of his family and friends.
Tour a lot.
Upon his return to the studio, Saint Anger was created, a record brimming with unfiltered anger. There are no guitar solos or standard song structures. There is only unrestrained anger and complete release. Lots of people didn't like that Metallica. It was the only way for Hetfield to say what he had been holding in for so long. Not the same person when Hetfield got back from rehab. He altered his job and learned to value his family more that he stopped organizing endless tours. Drinking wasn't running his life anymore. Furthermore, Metallica changed too. The young guys weren't acting like they had no responsibilities anymore. Their personalities had changed. There was no stopping.
So much is happening for you. I mean, your band has been nominated.
When they released Death Magnetic February 2008, the war was never really over, even though James Hetfield beat his demons. Still lurking in the shadows were alcohol, loneliness, and
we
fear.
found out it was him.
One difference was that he knew he wasn't alone this time. His music was Metallica, but most importantly, he had himself, lifestyle. James Hetfield has always been seen as a strong, fiery rock star, roaring on stage with explosive riffs and never-ending energy. However, he's not the same person when the lights are off.
It started with
A
drums.
life full of wounds, insecurities, and endless battles with his inner demons. In his personal life, James Hetfield learned how to love, fight against himself, and deal with loss. Growing up, Hetfield never had a normal family to teach him about love and being connected. His father left the family, his mother died of cancer, and his family fell apart because of their total devotion to religion. With this in mind, Hetfield became mentally distant, always keeping a safe distance from people. He dedicated himself completely to singing for many years. He met Francesca Tomasi, who would change his life forever. Francesca wasn't a Hollywood beauty or a woman who wanted
It was my dream to have a white bee. When I finally got
independence, and most importantly, her patience allowed her to see through Hetfield's tough facade. They met in the early 1990s when Metallica's Black Album was making them famous.
We went back up on
At
stage,
first,
and
Hetfield
I
was
started
still a
the song.
crazy
I'd love
rock
to see
star.
it. I mean, there's no other hit like Slayer.
But Francesca showed him that there was more to life than madness and music. The big event in Hetfield's life happened when they got married in 1997.
All three of them.
Suddenly, he had a real family and a place to go after a long day of travel. In addition to being his wife, Francesca was the only person who could stop him from hurting himself when he was about to do it. Alcohol slowly poisoned Hetfield's life in the late 1990s and early 2000s, making those years some of
punches you in the face. When James
Francesca
punches you in the
did
face,
everything she could to
can he
help
throw
him
a
fight
punch,
it.
or is
But
it?
Hetfield
When we go to, whenever our favorite bands are in town,
in February 2001, when Metallica was about to break up and he had lost all power,
And did someone
Francesca
teach you to
gave
play
him
the
a
guitar,
choice.
or do
You can
just
either
learn that
lose
on your own?
everything or
did,
choose
but-
your
If you had any
family.
chance,
Hetfield
but
picked
I
his
guess you
family.
being busy.
Getting
But
help
we-
for his
we
addiction
sneak
ended the
beer-
disastrous way of life he thought was a part of who he was. The wild, drunk rocker he was before he came back was not there. He transformed into a responsible
Versions,
adult,
and,
a
songs that you
loving
could cover,
dad,
and you
and a
would do
husband
them.
who cherished the
And then the
family he
band
had
got-
created.
I had to trade
Henry
it. I
Hetfield
traded
had
it in
3
for
kids
PA.
with Francesca,
I wanted to
Callie
be-
T,
Were you surprised by all the
1998,
different fans
Castor
that came and
Virgil,
flown in?
F,
Do you know you had
and
so
Marcella Francesca, 2 of 2002. He never expected how becoming a dad would change
By the
him.
way,
His children's eyes showed him that he was an abandoned
Lars,
child
when he
who
punches
never had standards.
I've created my own mosh pits quite a lot.
You knew you wanted
Unlike
to be a
him,
musician
he
in
didn't
some
want
weird
his
way,
kids to
and then you
grow
get a
up
hold of a
in the
guitar and you
same
start
cold,
playing.
faraway place. Unfortunately, Hetfield could never get away from the ghosts in his mind, no matter how much he changed. Their marriage seemed
was gonna ask that,
unbreakable for
Sinead.
more than 20 years, but it finally had its own problems. After 25
Her
years with
versions
the
were very
woman who
obscure.
helped him
Lars,
find
you would
himself,
travel all over Europe and look
Hetfield
for, like,
filed
really
for
obscure
divorce in
covers.
2022. Individuals who truly understood Hetfield knew that even after overcoming his problems with
local,
drinking, he was still a
jazz
man
band,
torn between
at
two
school.
worlds.
To the fans
Somebody who
surrounding us,
never really
and
thought he
everyone had
deserved the
flown in
love
from
he
a
got.
different country. That never
Hetfield kept
happened.
his personal life quiet after the split, focusing on Metallica and sticking to what he loved: music, nature, shooting, and being alone, away from the
Writing?
stresses of
Is that
everyday
it? Yeah,
life.
that's it.
Yeah.
Gave him
You had
comfort
not-
that I am
well,
concert.
seriously, you had never
Hetfield
written-
is
He was
still
a heavy
hero to
metal
me.
guitar.
While he's not
You know,
famous,
Michael Schenker,
he's just
White-
a normal
White
guy
Bee.
trying to find peace in a crazy world. Whatever happens with Metallica or Hetfield's life, one thing will always be the same. Only music makes him feel like he fits. Today's life and memory that if James Hetfield had an all-or-nothing attitude, he would throw himself into music like a wild animal and drink to drown his pain. After all the success, failure, and fights with himself, he has started a new part of his life with a new attitude. Not running away or hiding, but learning to live with his scars. Hetfield isn't the rebellious young rock star he used to be at age 60. But he still rock out on stage with his guitar and roaring words like he's never lost his youth.
In other words, you don't have confidence
More than
in your
40
own...
years later, Metallica is still one of the best rock bands in the world. They are still performing non-stop, selling out arenas around the world, and putting out albums that get great reviews. That they have made 72 seasons since 1993 shows that they are still making music and putting their pain into it.
I don't know, what do you think?
A formidable force. I'd actually be terrified to see what would happen.
As 2024 starts, Hetfield is still heavily involved with Metallica on their global M72 tour, which promotes 72 seasons. Attending their shows in Munich, Germany in May 2024 confirmed how popular they are with fans all over the world. Hetfield continues to put his whole heart into his acts and shows no signs of slowing down, despite all the hard times in his personal and professional life. He also talked about his real goal for himself, just trying to keep getting better, being a nicer person, thinking more positively about life and other people's lives, and making as many people happy as I can. Hetfield has worked in motion pictures as well as music. Alongside Peter Dinklage, he stars in the Western The Thicket. This is not his first time on TV.
But
A short
I think it would be well respected if I went down in there.
Like Evil involved 2019, a movie about the serial killer Ted Bundy earlier. Despite saying that he doesn't really enjoy acting because of the long wait times on set, Hetfield decided to take part in the project after Peter Dinklage personally asked him to. Although Hetfield isn't a professional actor, this shows that he's still open to new chances outside of music. Hetfield's impact goes beyond the heavy riffs, catchy songs, and stadiums full of devoted fans.
You just
He was
want to
able
get the
to
same
survive
guitar
something that many
guy is
other
playing.
rock artists could
We
not.
were
He is more than
6-9
just a
months into
famous
our
artist.
career.
He's a man
got
who
an
has been
encore.
through pain and come out victorious. Unquestionably, Metallica has changed the way music is made. Kill 'Em All to the Black album, Saint Aggression to 72.
You know, I don't know, maybe that's a luxury that I've kind of lost.
Hetfield has shown that even the
you were
most
trying to
lost
find your
people
voice,
can
I
find
feel.
their way if they
And
are
you almost
willing to
sounded
face
like
the
more-
darkness
They're a great
inside
band,
themselves.
and we get on with them really
For the first
well.
time in his life, James Hetfield is not fighting alone in his battle with himself. Do you agree or disagree with James Hetfield's journey? What emotional mark did he leave on you? As the strong head of Metallica, a musical genius, or a man who came out of the deepest poverty to find himself? Comment with what you think.
As
Like
most
and join if
kids
you want to keep learning about
love
the lives of famous
certain
musicians with us. Let's keep celebrating Metallica forever.